Good morning and welcome to Morning Moments. Thank you for joining us this morning. I have another actor. He's an actor and a director, and it's a thrill to be able to bring Michael Prieto to Morning Moments. Welcome, Michael.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for making arrangements and taking the time to be with us today. So tell us a little bit about yourself when I ask the question, what do you do and why do you do it?
Well, God has obviously blessed us all with our own special gifts and talents. And so what I do and why I do it is to share the gift that God gave me. And everybody has different talents, but in the entertainment industry, if you're a good writer or actor or producer, you use those skills to spread a message to people. And the way the world is right now, it's inundated with so much content, and we really are, you know, uh, running against the wind in the faith-based world because we're just outnumbered, and people's attention spans are shorter, and so we need something to catch their attention to maybe help them, make a decision in their life that can change the course of their life for the better. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing, and we all here at JC Films are doing the same thing. Is sharing our gift that God gave us, and hopefully it will resonate with people out there.
Yeah. One of the greatest storytellers of all time, the greatest is Jesus himself. Picked up a handful of seeds and say, "Let me tell you about these seeds."
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
and he was a visual storyteller.
Yes, yeah.
Sure, it's
I mean,
powerful to be able to see the story, not just read it. Right?
that's right. Well, I mean, if you think back, a lot of people were illiterate, so you had to be quite talented to get a message across, the broad spectrum of people.
Yeah. And
So
and what's the work that you're doing now, or we're talking about today? Tell us a little bit about that story that God's allowed you to be able to share.
you mean about the film?
Yes, please.
Well, it's called Simon Says, and it takes place in Los Angeles, the entertainment capital of the world, and it's very apropos because Simon is the bad. He's not a good guy. His spiritual side is gone long ago, and he's been lured in by the darkness. And I play that character, so it's been quite challenging. It was a very challenging role. Um, but there's a lot of people like that out here in Los Angeles. I mean, everywhere, but this seems to be the capital of that. People come here every day. People leave here every day because of their shattered dreams and their unrealistic expectations. Um, and what happens is people become vulnerable and weak, and that's how the devil works. They prey on weakness because people are not strong to, you know, fight off these temptations. And so my character finds this young kid that just moves to Los Angeles to pursue the acting career, and he lures him in down that dark path, which you hear of so many times happening in this city. And Simon, I don't want to give it away at the end, but Simon doesn't win, but um, the real story is the kid's path, in that he was able to see the light by other positive influences in the film, and he understands that art imitates life, and um, the reason why we're doing this film is because art imitates life. So, I told Patricia when we started this film, we can't sugarcoat this film too much. We can't. It has to be realistic. It has to be realistic. Otherwise, people won't believe it, and they'll
Yeah.
just tune them. I mean, even though it's faith based, I mean, everybody in the faith based world understands we're all human beings and we're all weak and we sin. And so we have to show people sinning. But the other side of that is atonement, and that's what this film does. It shows that, and it's very important.
It's amazing to think about when you talk about the atonement of how much God really loves us. And I mentioned this several times, some in interviews. I've been a Christian like 59 years, and I'm still amazed how much God loves me. And there's nothing I could do to win his love or lose his love. And
Right.
when people see that displayed through a movie or through a sermon or through a song, then they're drawn by the love of God. He he really loves you as a person.
Yeah. Yeah. And the best thing about being a parent is that you get the adoration and the respect from your children. That's, to me, that's the biggest accomplishment a parent can have, is to have the love and respect from their children, especially when your children tell you something like, well, Dad, I'll never forget what you said. I'll never forget what you said, because it made a difference in my life. And this what God does too. That's what Jesus does. It's that, and that's why we're doing the work we're doing, because if people are watching our films, and they get something from this, it just may be that moral compass that keeps them on their path or gets them back on their path, you know? And that's why we're doing what we're doing. And hopefully, it will touch some people.
We live in such a fast lane, and I think about people who pursue either the music industry, the film industry. They go to where they could get seen, get heard, and you're trying to work so fast that they miss their direction. And I've often said your speed is not near as important as your direction. And so you could be going as fast as you can, and God says that's not where I want you.
Right. Right. I mean, as human beings, it's never fast enough, right? But
Yeah,
it's always going to take too long, in our opinion,
yeah.
But we have to let go and understand that it's all in God's time. So I thought I would have been a famous actor many years ago, uh, but obviously that wasn't his plan. Who knows what his plan's going to be for me in the future? But all I'm doing is work. All I'm doing is sharing my gift that he gave me, and wherever it goes is where it goes. It's in his hands.
That I think it doesn't matter if you're a director or if you are a salesman. It's hard for everybody to really surrender. What would you say about the course of surrendering? What have you learned from surrendering?
Um, well, that old saying, "Blessed are those who have seen, who believe but have not seen." And it's faith, having faith. Blind faith is the hardest thing, and having faith, surrendering is having faith. And a lot of people don't. They want proof. Oh, the proof is in the pudding. I want to see it. Da 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 da. And that's the hardest thing for people to do, is to surrender and have the faith that God is going to take care of them.
I've talked to a lot of people in the film industry, actors and directors, and you're just a constant rejection all the time. Audition rejection, audition rejection. And you really have to give it to the Lord, or else you could be so discouraged.
Yeah. I mean, if you go out on a date and somebody doesn't want to see you again, at least they tell you why,
Yeah,
right? Or if marriage doesn't work out, at least you know why. I mean, this industry is the hardest industry, because you get rejected and they don't tell you why.
yeah.
So you're just constantly in a state of vulnerability and not having your footing. It really does require tough skin and belief and self belief, because we're trying to share our gift with the world, and if the world is not buying it, it can be quite discouraging. um, but it's the journey. That's the whole thing. People forget that the journey is the thing that's important. It's not the journey's end, it's the journey.
The learning is in the journey, the strength is in the struggle.
Well said.
And
Well
so
said.
and
Yeah.
so it's within that journey God really we realize who he is and his nature and how much he cares for us. So
Yeah, and in the adversity we go through in life, some people take it better than others, but the ones that get through the adversity are the ones that can share their experience with other people to help them get through it. I mean, I know addiction is at an all-time high. Um, there's a reason for that. They have lost their way. And there's so much out there with Instagram and all these other social media tools and filters to and virtual reality and everything else. People are just forgetting the fundamentals of life. They're forgetting, and hopefully we can, enlighten a few along the way.
Where can they find your film?
Well, right now it's still in post.
Still in post production, right?
I would say it's probably a few months away.
A few months
Um,
away.
this one is the first one for Los Angeles, and we've got to make it great because a this city, people have high expectations for anything that comes into Los Angeles.
Yeah,
So we have to make sure we bring it.
good. For those of you who may not be familiar with JC Films, please look them up. They have places all over the nation and around the world. We've interviewed some people from around the world, so keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on what God's doing with them in the LA club of JC Films. As we close today, and please look down below. Keep an eye on what's going on with JC Films and the release of this wonderful film. But as we close today, I want you to be praying for Michael. And I always ask my audience to do this. Take some time as soon as this is over and mention Michael's name in prayer. Michael needs your prayers, folks, and you need to practice. So pray that God would richly bless him in not only this production, but what God has for his hands to be on. Thank you so much for sharing your heart today, Michael.
Oh, you're very welcome. And everybody, yes, pray for me because the traffic out here is terrible.
Just to get home. Pray that he just gets home today. All right. All right. Thank you so much, Michael. God bless you. Pass this interview on to others and keep up the good work and keep coming back if you would for some more morning moments.